first time doing a partial body view. It's been a while since I've done a video. I wish I knew better. I wish I was able to do more of these, but hey, let's just go off on something I realized. I've been going to a new doctor, at least not doctor, more like therapist. But I've noticed something about it, is that it does help me figure out more about myself. Although, it's made me realize, I think, some pretty unfortunate truths. Part of the reason why is, as I've mentioned a lot of times, I feel really lonely. A lot of people I'm not able to have friends of. Or, it's that I'm just terrified of being friendly with them. Well, that's actually a terrible way of saying it. No, I'm not afraid of being friendly with them, but I feel like I have a hard time starting conversations and being ready. I feel, I guess, I have a hard time continuing those friendships in a way that would feel meaningful. And it feels like I've tried starting friendships, and it always feels like it's good talking to them, but I'm always afraid of seeing them later on in person after, like, out of school or something. Or it feels like I want to be friendlier with them or get to know them better, and then my fear would stop me. But maybe, and then he and I were starting talking about what causes my lack of social skills and what makes them such a big problem. And I don't mean to sound rude here, but part of me thinks I need to blame my family. And it's not that I dislike my family. I don't think I dislike my family. It just comes more down to, I think being with them so long has caused my social anxiety. And maybe also added a bit to my depression. But what I mean by that is, basically, an insight. My family is divorced. They divorced when I was around, like, 3 to 5-ish. And then we were coming home from, I believe, like, pre-K. And my dad driving me from pre-K to my Yaya Bapu's house. And I was confused. And he tried to explain to me that mommy and daddy are not going to be living in the same place. Which it's hard to do. How do you explain divorce to, like, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, around there? And from that, I've always had to deal with my entire life, basically. I've had to deal with moving from place to place, never staying in one town for more than like half the week before having to go to another place. And I think because of that, I've noticed a lot of things, especially when I was little, that it seems the people I'm friends with always were open to hang out on the days that I would be at my dad's house. I'd go to school, go home, my dad picked me up, and I'd go to wherever we lived at that time. And part of that made me not able to see them as often. So I've always really felt obsolete in a sense. I've felt that I was never able to get as close as I would like. There was always something missing. And part of that, I believe, was because I was never able to stay around long enough, and also just due to the sheer unluckiness of I was never able to be here when my friends were ready. So I never really got to ask anybody to have play dates or hang out, and I was never there when they did. I was there sometimes, birthday parties, some fun times, but the majority of the time I just was never there. So I always felt, maybe my brother felt this too, but I've always felt kind of isolated and distant. But it was never too bad when I was in middle school. I feel like I could still have somewhat of a life that was fine, that I could live with it. And my family doesn't hate each other. I feel like there's relative peace. There's some other things, though, I feel I wouldn't get into right now. But then COVID happened. And that kind of made everything worse. I mean, I've definitely had it a lot better than some other kids during COVID. Around the very start of it, the day it started actually in my town was my 13th birthday. And I was thinking like, wow, it's very unlucky. You're turning 13. But at least in my town when we had it, everything was quiet outside. No biking. My town's a very walkable town. I'm very glad for that. It's not very suburban. But I was always, I mean, I loved it. I loved kind of not having school, obviously, and I would text my friends on my old, I believe, Android something phone. It had a max of like 16 gigabytes, and it was so slow. Well, I loved having that phone. And then, but because of that, I think because during COVID, we didn't have a lot of time to see each other, developed a lot of problems. For one, lost family. My yaya and my papa both died in 2020, only like 18 days apart from each other. And when I learned about that from my dad, it destroyed me. I loved them a lot, and a lot of times it hurt. My papa had Parkinson's, and he could not walk, and my yaya had what's it called? What's it called? What's the thing called where you start to forget memories? Amnesia, not amnesia. Crap, what's it called? What's it called? Alright, I just looked it up. It's called dementia. Forgot about that. And I always felt like I could never connect with them. I got really sad during that. Made stuff a lot worse. And then when they died, and I saw their graves, I noticed my dad didn't shed a single tear. And I wondered why he couldn't. It was his parents. But he's a strong guy. I've only ever heard him cry twice in my life. Or maybe he just told a lot like me. But then during COVID, we did a lot of fun things. I went to Virginia with some cousins. Got to be outside a lot, despite my Aunt Papu and my cat also dying. I had it a lot easier than a lot of families did. Fast forward to during COVID, afterwards, now after COVID, not only did I have my family life being basically my entire existence. I could see my friends maybe on like FaceTime playing Among Us. But then during that, coming back into 8th grade, I basically had lost all my social skills, a lot of knowledge I lost, on top of my already pretty bad communication skills. They got even worse during COVID, and then the people I knew were really great, but then I was petrified to speak with anyone else. Then freshman year, the freshman year of high school, I realized also now recently that I will be the last class of kids that had to go to high school during COVID, which is kind of weird to think about. But now, high school, about like a month into high school, I had a girl tell me she liked me. And to be honest, she's someone I knew for 3 years by that point. I really enjoyed being around her. But I was petrified. I had a physical breakdown in front of my mom when she told me. And I interpreted that as I wasn't mentally ready. And I don't think I was. I think I made a good call at that, being 14. I made a good call. I was not mentally ready to be in a relationship if I acted like this just from the mere request of it. So, we're still friends. We still talk sometimes, although it's not as close as it was back then. But I think part of the reason why I wasn't mentally ready was due to all these factors beforehand. That my family was divorced and I couldn't spend time with friends, that I never really developed social skills, and then making everything worse on top of COVID, which already messed up my mental state enough. Being in that system really fucked me up. And on top of all of that, everything that was fucked up in my life, I started to lose people I cared about. Not necessarily like they died, but friends. And losing friends hurts a lot. I only know like a few people I could really say were more friendly. I've made efforts to talk to a few more people, and some have worked, but not all of them. And part of me wants to blame my family. I know it's not a probably healthy way of doing it, but I can't help but feel like my life would have been a lot different if they didn't divorce. Majority of my friends, and actually every single one of the person I know I think has together family. I'm the only one with a divorced family. And that always made it harder to see people when I was always the one who's gone. So I've always felt this feeling of alone and isolation, and I really don't know what I should do about it. How do I feel better? How do you get someone to feel better like this? I have no clue. The therapist may help me a little bit. I'm trying to be more social, but still, I can't help but feel like my family, also how much time I spend with them too. It's like, back to the family thing. I spend so much time around my family. Like I don't, I still, I see friends maybe like once every other month outside of school. And it really puts a perspective on like, hey, I can't talk to people in a big setting. And it makes me really sad because I feel like it lowers my friendships with them even more. I can have fun, I can have a great time, but I feel like I can't exist properly. I feel like I should have friends to exist properly, and on top of my many, many problems. I wish I didn't have as many problems as I did, but I spend summers with them. Every break we have, I go out somewhere with them, whether it be to different states or countries, even like the Bahamas. And while they're nice, I never got to spend time around my friends like my brother did. I can't help but he went on these trips too, but it seems like he was able to adapt far more to the situations that were placed on us than I did. He's got a girlfriend, bunch of friends. I feel like I'm always this back pedal, like he's got everything figured out when it comes to social skills while I'm still on the back foot. And I'm very envious, as much as I don't want to be. But I can't help but feel like I wish things would be different, that I wish I could get over this fear of mine, but I just can't do it. I'm trying so hard, but it feels like impossible. And I'm not so sure what to do about it. Therapist is nice, but it's just mainly a way to vent. It's not like it's actually teaching you how to deal with your problems. I wish it did. Anyways, that's just the thing. I believe the reason for my incredible social anxiety, mixed with the lack of being able to find either friends, romantic partners, or even just someone to spend some time with outside of school, is due to my lack of social skills due to COVID and my divorced parents. It's not like I hate to. Should I blame them? I mean, I love them, but it's always like, just because you love somebody doesn't mean they didn't do anything wrong. And like, what do I say even? I can't just be like, hey, it's your fault that I'm feeling like shit. It's like, you can't just say that. That's all I really wanted to say, I guess. Just, what do I think? What do you think? Is it my fault? It's my fault now that I'm having a hard time finding it, but I still don't know if it's fully my fault. I wish it wasn't, but to be honest now, it's all depending on what I have to do. I want the strength to do it, but I know it's going to be challenging. And I miss a lot of opportunities that I wish I didn't. I hope in the future it'll get better. Although I'm still terrified now with college, that it's going to make my social life a lot harder to deal with. Anyways, besides that, I guess thanks. I'm not so sure what to say at the end of this.